Welcome to C-Suite Scale, where executive minds unpack the real stories behind business growth. I am joined by Peter Prieto, who is the founder and CEO of nDataStor. Welcome, Peter. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Brenda.
Awesome. Yes,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Excited to learn about you and your business and all of your growth strategies that you've encountered while over at nDataStor. Why don't you just take a moment, share a little bit about yourself and your company?
Yes, so my name is Peter Prieto. Company is in nDataStor. Company was started in 2008. We were originally a technology systems integrator. And then around the 2016, 2017 timeframe, we decided to transition into the MSP. We were already helping out some local businesses with IT services and security. And it seemed like a smooth transition at that time.
Awesome. That's so exciting. And so, how did the background of your experience kind of play a part in developing this business?
I've been in IT my whole life. So I started in IT, probably going to age myself a little bit, in 1989, um, predominantly in sales. But sales, and from a corporate level is relationship building. It's customer service. So I tell our team today that we're really in the customer service business. We just happen to be doing IT support, IT services, and security. But I'm very customer service driven, orientated. Um, it's just how we built the company.
hmm I love that. And so, as an MSP, how did the vision come about and how has it evolved over the years to get to where you are right now?
Initially, it was based on security, not security, on services. Companies came to us for two reasons. One, they either started small, and maybe the operations or the general manager was also doing the IT because they were small. He could do both. As they grow, he can't do both. So they have to focus on their primary responsibilities, and they bring us in to manage the network, manage the infrastructure, manage the devices, so on and so on. Or what's happened probably more so lately is that we get businesses that are anywhere from, I'd say, 40 to 100 employees, and they have one person managing their infrastructure from network to security to devices, basically putting all their eggs in one basket. So if that person's on vacation, that person's out sick, if he becomes a disgruntled employee, um, they're kind of painting themselves into a corner. So rather than having one person, they'll hire us. We have a team of techs, all certified, all trained, and then we provide the necessary level of services that they would need.
Okay, I love that. What would you say your competitive differentiator is?
I think for us, customer service, we call ourselves white glove IT service, but we do training on our techs on how to answer the call. Something as simple as answering the phone, how to be responsive, how to show compassion because customers aren't calling us to say hi; they're calling us because they have a problem. Some cases they're frustrated, so we train our techs how to deal with those types of situations. In parallel with that, on our back end, everything we do is based on a ticketing system. So when a support request comes in, a ticket is issued, tech works that ticket, and so on. We have a back end survey system. When the ticket is closed, customer gets a survey, and there's three options. One is great. The second one is okay, needs improvement, and obviously the third one is not good. If they get a good or great review, they get a point. That a point equates to $1 on a website where they can then go buy gift cards. So if they're delivering a high level of service, we want to reward our techs as well. So it's kind of a win-win for both our customers and our support team.
Yeah, that's really great. I think that customer service is just so important in this day and age. But then also, the fact that you've actually implemented a system within your own company to make sure that it is maintaining to be a top priority. So that's really phenomenal.
Yeah, it helps us build the culture, and I mean, if your employees or your tech support team or your staff is doing a great job and they're living up to that culture and delivering a high level of service, we want to also reward them for that as well. So there's like five. So they fill out their review, and then they can pick like five different like responsiveness, response time, knowledgeable, customer service. I can't remember what the last one is, and then we get ratings for each of those keywords. So I think like I looked at a report yesterday. I think with the most responses we got were on response time and responsiveness, which are crucial for us because that we supply our customers a 30-minute guaranteed response time.
That's awesome. And then does that create any type of a healthy competitive nature within your
Well,
business?
yeah, we do a monthly contest for most reviews, and whoever it's winner take all. Whoever gets the most reviews in a month, I think it's 50 points, which equates $50 that gets added to their account.
And then obviously the main people benefiting are going to be your customers and your clients from this.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, pricing is pricing. Some people are lower, some people are more expensive, but at the end of the day, I still believe in how relationships were built in the 90s and the early 2000s. Every quality relationship was built on building that relationship, over delivering on your promise, and if something went wrong, dealing with it right from the start, not running away from the problem and resolving that issue.
Yeah, that's great. Well, nice job on that. Let's talk a little bit about your approach to scaling the company. You've obviously been around for a while, so you've gotten to a pretty healthy spot.
Yeah, I made a decision at the end of last year. Every year we look at we try and look back on the previous year. What did we do wrong? What did we do right? What can we do different? And the biggest thing that came out to me is we ended up hiring an IT manager to manage this tech support team, so that could remove that from my plate. And I wanted to focus just on sales and marketing, because I think for any business today, if you're not trying to figure out how to deliver the right piece of content to the right prospect at the right time, I mean, that's the name of the game, right? Attention is what's for sale today. So you need to be able to put your content or whatever service or whatever offer you have in front of the right person at the right time.
Hmm. And so, how do you go about identifying your customers' and prospects' biggest pain?
For us today, it's security. We're a small business ourselves. I understand the time, the energy, the sweat, the tears, the pain, the frustrations that go into building a small business. With all the threats that are out there today, all it takes is one click from an employee clicking on the wrong link, and now either your data is held ransom, you're being sued because you let data out that you had within your system. You have a class action lawsuit you're facing, or I think the biggest statistic that's out there now is 50% of small businesses, after experiencing one form or another of a threat, will go out of business.
I had no idea. That's a pretty significant statistic.
Yeah, I mean the big companies. I think the one I seem to talk about a lot is MGM in Las Vegas. They were hit with an attack. I want to say about 7 months ago. They paid the ransomware because obviously they can afford to pay it, but they still just settled a class action lawsuit for the little bit amount of data that was released during the period prior to them paying that. I think they settled at about 45 million. So
Wow.
they can afford that. A small business with 10, 15, 20, 40 employees, it's a
Yeah.
big hit.
Yeah. Right. Right. And so you talked a little bit about, just your personal experiences throughout the years and learning all of this. Are you able to share a little bit about how, maybe your personal experience is, helping your clients gain trust in nDataStor?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, every relationship begins with trust. Customers aren't going to buy from you unless they trust you. So we try and focus on trying to close that sales cycle. Today, we're working on testimonials from all of our customers, creating videos, putting them on our website, so that our customers and our prospects can see that, and then hopefully that'll help them overcome the trust issue. And then you have to build the relationship. So every piece of content that we create, I have a VA that creates all my content for all the platforms from TikTok to Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Google, is all based on educational video or content. We send out emails with that same content, and anytime we get a bulletin that there's this alert or that alert. I think the last one we got last week, there was 94 billion cookies that were hacked and were available on the dark web. So anytime you say cookies through a browser, it was hacked. It wasn't specific to what browsers or what was available, but 94 billion is a lot of data that's out there. And it's funny as that sounds, I got an alert when was it? What's today? Tuesday, last Thursday, that my business credit card two charges were being made in different states for 7,000 each.
Wow.
So sometimes when you save your credit card information on a browser,
Uh-huh.
you're making that available to the people that can come in and sniff that out, and then they make it available on the dark web, and it's for sale, the highest bidder.
Wow, that's crazy. You're making me really rethink what I have saved on the internet browser.
You have to. I mean, we recommend our clients that they're clearing cache on a monthly basis. They're not saving passwords or credit card information in your browsers.
Yeah.
We also send out emails regarding user hygiene because usually it's going to be, employees are busy. They have their jobs they're trying to do, and whether it's 8 to 5 or 7 to 6, and all it takes is them trying to do 2 or 3 things at one time. They get an email that appears real. They think it's coming from the person that they maybe spoke to the day before. They click on the link, and it's not. Most attackers are sitting on networks for 6 months. So they're studying your habits. They're studying how you communicate with your vendors, how you communicate with your customers, your fellow employees. And then at some point, they will jump in, and whether they intercept. We actually have one I was working on yesterday because we do a webinar every month. Different things, but the webinar for next month is for law firms and how they can better protect their business from an attack. And there was actually a law firm that was going through. I think they were in a. I think they were being sold,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to say that they intercepted that. And when the buying company went to go pay for the shares, $3.1 million. Instead of paying the customer, which it appeared real, they paid the hacker. So you can imagine the type of issues that creates. Credibility. The customer who sent the money is pissed off.
Yeah.
You're scrambling to figure out what you can do to resolve the issue, but there's nothing that you can do once the money's paid and money's gone. You can't reverse the wire transfer.
Wow, that is, I mean, you have so much with so much knowledge. And so what I'm hearing really right now is as a new prospect or client, if I'm having a one-on-one conversation with you and you're sharing with me these numbers and statistics, I'm really wanting to follow your lead from there forward because you clearly, have the numbers to back up kind of what you're seeing.
What I'll tell prospects, and even when I talk to our customers, is it's our job to get the information from the people that have it and share it with you. We can't tell you what to buy or what not to buy. We're going to tell you what we recommend you should use, what the cost will be for that. Then it's your choice. I'll tell customers, figure out what type of data you have and what is the risk on that data. What's the dollar amount, the value you think of that data, the data that you have for your business, but even more importantly, the data you're collecting from your clients. Because if that's stolen, not only will you get hacked and your business could be held ransom, now you might also face a class action lawsuit because the minute you take data from somebody else, you're also assuming that responsibility to protect that data.
Hmm.
And a lot of businesses don't realize that.
So it's a really kind of an education-based framework you have.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's 5 major vectors. There's email, there's DNS, like websites, fake websites that you might see through an email. There's identity, like security awareness training, password management. There's devices, endpoint, which is your workstations, your servers, and then network. And then you want to make sure that you're using some form of a SOC, which is Security Operations Centers, that's actually managing that 24/7. Managing, if let's say I were to log in and I had a login from Alaska, but they know I'm working in California today, that's going to be a red light. So instead of that attacker being on your network for 6 months, they cut that down to less than 60 seconds.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, thanks so much for sharing. Definitely one. Sorry, what was that?
No, it's our goal to get the information out to as many businesses and protect as many businesses. Like I said, we're a small business. I know what it takes to build a business and to lose it just because somebody clicked on the wrong link. Take the feeling. I even had this feeling last week when I saw those 2 charges come through. American Express is very good with it. Obviously, they freeze it and you don't have to pay it. But imagine you having that and now you have to deal with it because you're not going to get a charge back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I can definitely, feel the passion that you have for what you do, which, transfers over to the clients that you support.
Absolutely, it's what we're here for.
Love that. So how are you going about, new client customer acquisition? What channels are you using for your own business growth?
So today we're doing, obviously, we're email. Email continues. We're just trying to be more specific. So what we did is we jumped into the AI world about 8 months ago.
Hmm.
A mentor of mine told me you either jump in or you're going to be left behind. So we use we're very dependent on ChatGPT today, the pro version of it. We create avatars for every one of our vertical clients, whether it's law firms, dental practices, construction. And those verticals are like we're speaking to the actual customer, so we can create content that the customer can relate to.
Hmm.
So I think we started this about 2 months ago. Any content we send out now is specific to a specific market. We do postcards. We just started doing webinars. I'm always looking for, now we're doing our testimonials with our existing clients, so we can put those videos on our website and make them available to new prospects to try and close that sales cycle with trust. But anything that you can do to, again, get the right material at the right time in front of the right prospect, we're always looking for new ways.
Yeah, I love that. Right material, right time, great combination.
I mean, that's the magic formula. It's just figuring out when, right, and figuring out who.
Hmm.
So I don't think there's one perfect way. I think the best thing I can tell any small business is do as many as you can, and do them as often as you can.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so great. And so, how are you going about, leveraging your internal expertise within the company to, grow and then leverage the tools and resources that you have and you've invested in?
Internally, as far as what we're doing internally to with AI or.
Yeah, let's go down the AI route. That's a good idea.
Well, right now we're investigating ways to automate some of our workloads. So there's things that we do, our techs do in a repeatable process, and we can make those. So that way we can make their time more available to work on bigger projects. Help out customers with T&M calls. We're looking to automate that. And then anything else that we can do from the survey engagement with the client, we're looking at as well.
Okay. Yeah, you mean the survey that your internal team is kind of graded on, if you will.
Yeah, so right now the customer gets a survey. If they say it's great, then another window will pop up. If they have a couple minutes, you want to do a Google review because Google reviews are important to growing your business. We don't get. I think we're averaging maybe 2 to 3 a month. But now we're looking at there's a way that we can pull all the reviews out of the system. For the people that gave us a good review, didn't give us a Google review, we can also email them and say, hey, thank you for this review. By the way, if you have a couple minutes, you mind giving us a Google review, so we can ask a second time for the Google review. So we're looking at ways to do that now.
That's awesome. Well, continuing down that AI route, I mean, what kind of trends are you seeing with AI overall for both your company and then also the clients that you're having to be cognizant of?
I mean, I think, and you probably would agree. I think that it's unlimited what you can do with AI.
Yeah.
I was looking at an application. I don't know if you've heard of Make. So Make, you can. I think the way I understand it, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You can. It's like a robot you program to do one thing very well. Then you create an automation with multiple robots that are all doing one thing very well. So you can create a whole automation through a sales cycle to a sales system of all these AIs engaging in one way or another. Whether
Mhm.
that's, I saw a video where a guy said, create a blog on XYZ. I think it was the fires in LA. Create a blog on the fires in LA, blah, blah, blah. And it went to, I think, ChatGPT to create the blog. Then it went and it posted it on his website. It posted it on all his social networks in a matter of 2 seconds.
I know, it's
What
phenomenal.
would that have taken us a year ago?
1,000%. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you would have to create it, right? Think of what am I going to write?
Uh-huh.
So now that said, I talked to another marketing company. They were saying that For example, like with emails, Google has a way to decipher if it's actually AI creating the email or if it's actually a human. And I don't know how true that is yet, creating the
Okay.
email. And then they gives it a different score level if it's AI.
Really? Okay. I have not heard that personally.
I haven't, but it wouldn't surprise me because, um, Google, they always want to kind of manage the traffic a little bit, and they don't want, they always want to protect from people getting just email scammed over and over again with AI email. So they have to protect against that. But there's an easy way around that. Is you take an AI email, you edit it a little bit, and you change it up so it's not identical.
Yeah, and I think that that's kind of where the human, brain power comes in is okay, are you reviewing the output from what AI produced? Because I know for me personally, I use ChatGPT on a daily basis, but every single email I edit just a bit and I tweak because, it's imperative to get my message across and how I intend it to come across.
And you never know when that ChatGPT might get you something that you don't want to send to your client on accident. Yeah, I do the same here. We edit everything before we send it. We'll create campaigns, but we'll edit them all. We'll get feedback from our team. We'll add some things. We'll remove some things. We'll add some links, videos, and so on.
Yeah.
But it's scary. I mean, I don't think it's too far fetched to think 5 years from now. Like we have SDRs to set appointments that we're paying a live person to set appointments, and then eventually they can transition into an account manager. But I don't think it's available today. If it is, it's still, I think, needs a little bit of tweaking. But eventually, AI would be able to do that 5 years from now.
Yeah. There's some companies that I'm aware of that are in the early stages of that. Um,
Yeah, I've seen one or two out there. It's just when somebody calls you and it's AI, you could tell it's AI.
oh yeah, yeah.
What I'm saying in 5 years, you will not be able to tell.
And that's scary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw a statistic that in 5 years, was it 5 or 10 years, 50% of the vehicles on the road would be autonomous vehicles, self-driving vehicles,
Yeah. I haven't. Oh, sorry. What was that?
which is scary.
Yeah, it is. I have not yet ridden in one of those vehicles.
I won't. Because here's the thing, one of the easiest things, and people don't realize that one of the easiest things to hack into is a vehicle.
Hmm.
Vehicles, and for all intent and purposes, don't have complicated firewalls in them. So if somebody wanted to hack into a vehicle and maybe control the acceleration, lock the doors, whatever the case might be. So me being in IT, yeah, I'm not getting in one of those cars unless I know who's driving it.
Yeah, you know the other side of it.
Exactly. It's still a computer, right?
Hmm. It is absolutely. Well, talk to me a little bit about you have obviously some great goals within the company. You have some great knowledge that's backing you and your team. What's kind of one thing that you're still looking to get right to be able to reach your future goals?
Remember that formula that I told you, trying to get the right information in front of the right people at the right time?
Yes.
If there was anything that would help us digest that a little bit better and accelerate that process, that's the one thing that we're all aiming for, I think, in business. Can we get in front of the customer at the right time and then accelerate the sales cycle?
Yeah.
Sales cycles in IT services usually take a little bit longer, anywhere from 2 to 6 months. We no longer focus on IT services. We offer it, we do it, it's part of the package. But IT services is becoming a commodity. It's just IT services. Anybody can do it. There's a million companies out there doing it. And you can have the best IT services company or the best IT person in the business managing your IT. But if you're not taking care of the security element of it, then what are you doing it for?
There you
You're not
go.
protecting your business. And you're not protecting your biggest asset, which is all of the data that you collect, whether it be internal or external.
Very good. What makes you excited for the rest of 2025 and then going into the next few years?
Um, I for me, I think it's just if I look back 12 months, we're leaps and bounds from where we were then when it comes to automation, AI, content, setting appointments, the conversations we're having with our clients, we're leaps ahead of where we were a year ago. So when I look at it from that standpoint, where will we be in a year from now? I'm hoping we'll have that same magnitude of difference.
Mhm. So exciting. Well, nice job on, growing and scaling to where you've been so far. I guess, is there any additional advice that you would leave for someone else on the same journey as you?
Any advice I would give them? I think as any, whether it's a business owner or somebody who's in charge of the business, you got to figure out how to get that information in front of your prospects. Don't focus as much on your back end, like how do I get it done? How do I deliver the service? Focus on finding the customers. That's the most important thing, and leverage AI as in many areas as much as you can.
So, well, sounds like you're definitely ahead of it, and that's some great advice.
Trying.
Trying every day. Very good. Well, where can people reach out to you to learn more or connect with you?
They can just go to our site, nDataStor.com. There's a couple different call to actions there that will allow them to set a calendar, an appointment on my calendar or one of our SDRs.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining the show today, Peter.
Brenda, thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Awesome. It was very enjoyable.
Take care.
You too.
All right, bye.